Why I, a gay man, will continue to challenge feminism indefinitely. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and it's another day with yet another article containing the completely ridiculous and downright homophobic lie that gay men frequently grope women whenever women enter into gay bars. Like the wage gap and the 1 in 5 women being raped on college campuses rumors, feminists have learned that if they repeat a dishonest thing enough times, people will start to believe it. And thus, they have been spreading the rumor that gay men are sexual predators that prey on women. And people believe it. This time, the claim was written for a website called Dazed Digital and had the headline, "Why do some people want to stop women performing drag?" Which by itself is already another completely dishonest framing of gay culture and nightlife, which inaccurately describes my ample experience with the drag scene spanning about 15 years. From my experience, female drag performers were always welcome, just so long as they put together elaborate costumes with drag makeup, were good performers, and had a positive attitude. Though female drag performers might not be welcome if they were feminist drama queens, just saying. More importantly, I can't let it slide that they had to tack on the allegation that gay men constantly grope women. For the millionth time, gay men generally don't touch women at gay bars. They touch us. And we tend not to really care a whole bunch, which is why nobody ever made an issue about the occasional playful touching between gay men and women at gay bars until the advent of fourth wave feminism, when internet rumors became the be-all and end-all of perceived gender dynamics in the West. If fourth wave feminism officially started rearing its malicious, life-ruining, and dishonest nature in 2008, like the Wikipedia entry claims that it definitely took a few years to reach the gay male community. But once it realized that it could find ways of controlling gay men, it wouldn't let up, and it continues to hold fast with its heinous grip almost increasingly as time goes on. Need evidence? When Wendell Melton shot and killed his son for being homosexual in Nevada late 2017, a person named Jamie Grant, executive director of PFLAG, which stands for Parents and Families of Lesbians and Gays, which is an organization that my mother was a part of when I first came out in the 1990s, their executive director took the opportunity to demonize masculinity, claiming, "We have a crisis of masculinity in this country. It's obvious across the board in this report and in unrelenting reports on sexual assault and also gun violence. Many normative messages men learn as they are growing up about stuffing their feelings, policing other men's gender and sexuality, asserting dominance from the boardroom to the bedroom also show up in their lives as fathers." It almost sounds like she's not even really talking about homophobia at all. Sounds a bit biased towards the feminist narrative, does it not? Let's see if Jamie Grant is a feminist. Well, she has a PhD. This couldn't be all bad. Oh wait, her PhD is in women's studies. Looks like the official representative for parents and families of lesbians and gays is a full-blown hardcore feminist who hates masculinity. But this is not unusual. Gay men are routinely told that we are misogynists for using the terms bitch and cunt, because many men might prefer to date masculine guys, or because gay men occasionally want to organize events that are designed to be catered to a gay male audience. And I won't even get into all the excuses that feminists use to call white gay men racist. For the purposes of this video, I will not be providing a whole bunch of other examples, as they are too numerous to name, and it really isn't that hard to find these examples for yourself. Just do a Google search for gay male misogyny or why white gay men are racist. Look at the author, and you will find pretty much unanimously that you can fairly easily determine that these people are all feminists. Although there have always been a number of gay men that self-identify as feminists, especially if you look into nonprofit workers, activists, and other such types of people, things haven't always been so bad, even in relatively recent years. I came out as gay in the late 90s, and while I was 14 then and thus obviously didn't really know all that many gay guys for the next 7 years or so, even in the late 90s, it was fairly common to hear gay guys complaining about how annoying the PC lesbians were and how we didn't like hanging out with PC lesbians. I realize now, of course, that it wasn't the fact that they were lesbians which was what was wrong with them, but rather that they were feminists, and the fact that they had an entire worldview that was based around female authoritarianism and criticizing males at every opportunity, which led them into constant conflict when they attempted to interact with any men, including gay men. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize about gay men, which I feel deeply saddened that I have to even explain to heterosexual people, and even some LGBT people who haven't been out of the closet long enough to truly learn this. Gay men aren't always like they have been in recent years. We've been going through an epically bad phase of gay culture in recent years. In recent years, we've been pigeonholed into a few small categories, where either you are seemingly a drag queen, an SJW, some combination of both, a sex-obsessed leather guy circuit party dude who listens to extremely boring house and techno music, or a bear that drinks a lot. I see almost nothing else these days. But things weren't always like this. Gay men can be extraordinarily witty, creative, honest, and sincerely loving to each other. Gay men don't always pounce on every opportunity to tear each other down. When we feel completely free to express ourselves however we want and are appreciated for it by our peers, we tend to have a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we don't really have that right now, and I honestly really think that it's mainly because fourth wave feminism, fourth wave intersectional feminism, rather, came along and ruined our party. And trust me, our party was pretty amazing. So amazing that, unfortunately, I don't even really remember it all that well. From about 2003 through 2013 or so, especially, I rubbed shoulders with some of the most intensely creative, witty, interesting, fun, inspired gay men that you could ever hope to meet. Hell, some of the most awesome people of any type that you might ever want to meet. And we weren't only friends with other gay men. In New York City, circa 2005, we'd go to film screenings, magazine release parties, and music shows where the crowd would be about 25% gay, and a few lesbians, which is a sizable population, but we'd enjoy the company of heterosexual people as well, and they'd enjoy our company. In the San Francisco Bay Area around 2008 through 2012, things were similar, though it would be maybe 50% LGBT, and we still had a blast. We were all creative, we were all unafraid to get completely silly, and we all had fun. There were no restrictions on our behavior, and there were hundreds of us. However, during that period in the San Francisco Bay Area, by around 2009 or so, the feminist identity politics started to slowly creep in ever so slightly. I remember very clearly the time that I was singled out at a party and shamed for about a half hour for casually using the word retarded as a negative. I remember very clearly the time when my band played a show at a house and I was harassed by numerous feminists because we had a song with rape in the lyrics. And despite the fact that I explained to all of them that I didn't write the song and I didn't even do the main vocals, they focused their ire onto me, seemingly because I was male and my bandmates were female or femme. Blame the dude, obviously. I remember very clearly a transgender friend of mine writing me out of the blue, alleging that she was mad at me for the usage of the word tranny, which I had used in the past, but she didn't even cite a specific time in which that I had used it, which offended her. She simply decided to randomly write me on Facebook Messenger, reprimand me for having used the word once upon a time, and she became irate when I explained that I felt like I had the right to an opinion about whether people should be able to use the word tranny, and when I wouldn't vow to immediately change my behavior according to her whims and stop using it, she disowned me as a friend, all out of nowhere. I remember all of this and much, much more, and it deeply damaged my psyche. Had I not been a stronger person, it could have broken me. And it did, in fact, put me in a deep depression for over a year in which I felt afraid to share my honest opinions about culture and politics because it seemed like I had two choices. Either I could be attacked for telling the world what I really felt, or I could lie. Neither was acceptable to me. All of this stemmed from intersectional feminism, which has a monopoly over the entire LGBT community, which I discuss in numerous other videos. These are people who want control more than anything for political gains, and they attempt to achieve this by terrifying people into conformity. However, thanks to YouTube and people like Milo Yiannopoulos, Blair White, and Theron Meyer, I realized that there were still people out there who were willing to call a spade, make a few jokes, and mention the gigantic elephant in the room, which is the bigotry, dishonesty, and hypocrisy of the entire feminist ideology. These were all LGBT people that were putting themselves out there completely publicly and saying things that would likely get people banned from certain bars and events that I used to occasionally attend. And I was beyond happy that they did it. I didn't agree with absolutely everything any of these people said, but it was extremely satisfying that they said the things that they did. And it was actually pretty nice that I had so many differences of opinions with Milo Yiannopoulos, for example, because I realized that I could easily make YouTube videos myself, and I could maybe make good ones because I have a writing and theater background, and I had my own unique spin on all of these issues. That all said, as time goes on, I see people like Milo Yiannopoulos and so many others like him moving on to new issues. And I can completely understand that. I can understand why people get sick of talking about feminism. Milo's starting point that made him famous was to ridicule feminism, which was fairly easy at the time, especially if you had a platform and were willing to be subjected to their relentless internet abuse and smear campaigns. It was a ballsy thing to do that Milo did, and I absolutely respect him for that. However, the one thing, or the main thing, that I think really separates me fundamentally from Milo, outside of small differences of opinion and presentation, and the fact that I am not a Catholic identified conservative, is that Milo seemingly has little allegiance to the gay male demographic. Milo says publicly, of course, that life would be easier if he wasn't homosexual, and that he kind of wishes he was straight. But to me, that is a bit of a triviality. What I think is more important is that I simply don't see a whole bunch of an attachment to gay male culture in Milo, which is something that sets us apart. When Milo gets drunk, does he sing The Smiths while he walks down the street like I do? Does he enjoy old films like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Suddenly Last Summer, and Mommy Dearest? Did he ever read Giovanni's Room? Was he ever into indie music from the past 15 years like Owen Pallett, Perfume Genius, and Passion Pit? I don't know. And honestly, I don't really care. Milo is Milo, and he's not me. That's the point. There's countless things about him that I don't agree with or relate to. But more importantly, I am somebody that openly and unapologetically loves gay men and gay culture. I don't like the state of seemingly most of gay culture in the current year, but I still love John Waters movies. I still loved Taylor Mac Theater last time I saw it a number of years ago, and I still love all of that music that I already mentioned. What I want more than anything is to have these things back. I want gay culture back. Even drag has largely started to be taken from us because feminists have been rubbing their grubby little paws all over even that. First, demanding supposed inclusion in the drag scene, but then inevitably they will always demand control and the ability to police what other people do in the scene, like feminists do to everything they get near. Thus, while I wish I never had to say this to begin with, I wish I could have just continued to make music and theater the way I successfully did prior to all of this nonsense ruining the scenes that I ran in. But we, as gay men, simply can't have nice things until we, at a bare minimum, draw a line for ourselves in relation to feminism. No, I do not expect every gay man to learn as much as I know about feminism in terms of history, theory, and contemporary feminist organizing, in order to take it apart piece by piece in the way that I do in my videos. I don't expect every gay guy to do that, but I do want people to at least be familiar enough with the arguments to assert themselves as gay men and say, enough is enough, you don't get to order me around. The feminist influence stops here. Until the majority of gay men who attend bars, nightclubs, and theater, and, anything that gay men want to do as gay men, until these people can set such boundaries for themselves, I will keep making these videos. Until feminists learn that they don't get to lord over the drag scene, the gay male music scene, and come after gay filmmakers and artists for doing what they want as creatives, I will continue to make videos. Will I do other stuff? Absolutely. I already have numerous scripts that I hope to produce into films, and might shift gears to make at least one of them. However, until I am confident that I won't get barraged with endless feminist controversy for merely making an entertaining movie that people would hopefully actually want to watch, I will keep making videos like this as well. Thanks for your time.